Welcome to another episode of Pure Hyzer Production. I'm Nikko Locastro here with Pavo Stubstead, and we're going to get into second round coverage of the St. Patrick's Classic in Orangevale, California.
This was a 3-day A-tier event that took place on March 18th through 20th. On Friday and Saturday, they added 10 temp holes to the course, took out one of the original 18 to make it a full 27. The third round on Sunday will just be the 18. But Nikko, do you want to tell me a little about the course there at Shady Oaks and the temp holes they got?
Absolutely. Well, the course is very tight and technical compared to most courses around the country, so you'll get to see a lot of trees and a lot of tight lines. And even on the temp holes, they were challenging. It's not an easy layout by any means, so there's a lot of obstacles to get through and a lot of trees to get by. So you'll get to see all that coming up here shortly.
A lot of blind shots off the tee, a lot of different types of lines, annies or sidearms, depending on what strengths and weaknesses players have. You'll get to see a lot of players attack holes in different ways, depending on...
It's a good course, and there's good competition at this tournament every year. It just brings out some of the best players around California, of course, and even players as far as Germany and other states around.
And then speaking of those players that we're going to see here in round 2 on the lead card, we've got Nikko Locastro and Wysocki pretty close at the top. And then we've got Philo, Brathwaite and Simon Lizotte pretty close for third and fourth on the lead card. So anything can happen here. 27 holes left in round 2, another 18 in round 3. It's anybody's game here at St. Patty's. You ready to take a look at the action?
Let's get into it, Papa.
Let's do it.
All right.
St. Patrick's Classic, Round 2 lead card. Brought to you by Pure Hyzer Productions and Final 9 Sports.
Leading after the first round, you have Wysocki from Fort Mill, South Carolina at 17 under, rating 1043.
Second place, Nikko Locastro, 16 under from Grass Valley, California, rating of 1035.
Sitting in third, Philo Brathwaite from Tahunga, California at 11 under, rating 1018.
And last but not least, Simon Lizotte in fourth place, sitting at 10 under from Bremen, Germany, rating of 1026. Hole 1 here at Shady Oaks is in the B-pin, 335 feet, uphill shot. Uphill off the tee, it flattens out before the basket.
Most players go to the right of that tree just trying to play it straight, but it tends to go left. You really got to punch it out there flat and then let it fall if you want the birdie.
Yeah, there you can see Ricky did end up about
you can hit a long putt.
40 or 50 left.
This one felt pretty good, but ended up a little shorter than I wanted it to be.
That's the right shot, though. Flex something out there a little bit, have it turn over,
Just
then
inside the
come
circle.
back. Yep.
Philo just laces this one, as you can tell. He goes very straight. It's a little bit to the right, but he's up there for a putt.
Yeah, just outside the circle right there, it looks
I
like.
wouldn't say that he laced it, but he gave himself a good look at birdie.
It's a little too much turn. And last up, Simon.
Looked like Simon was trying the straight shot. Left it a little bit high.
Yeah, there's a little more danger taking that straight at it line with that oak tree on the left there that he ended up hitting.
He just likes to throw hard. I think he went mid-range at it, and everyone else went driver.
Left the upshot a little wide, too. And
Ricky was about 60 feet, but he cans that one.
What a way to start. You hear Nikko there going, okay. Ricky just steps up and hits the first putt of the round from 60 feet.
I don't know what happened there. Just left it short.
It's tough to follow up a huge putt.
Might have been feeling the nerves. first hole.
Philo gets a nice putt to start the round as well. And Simon for a par.
It's not like Simon. He usually makes all the putts.
Yeah, he does. That was unexpected.
After missing the first hole and Rick made a long putt, I knew I had to start making some moves if I wanted a chance.
So after the first hole there, we see 2 birdies, a par, and a bogey. Ricky now with a 2-stroke lead. And Philo with the 3-stroke lead over Simon. Hole 2C in the pyramid placement. This is one of the signature basket placements anyway at this course.
You mainly just want to get this shot over that hill, and it usually gets a little extra drift once you make it over the first hill.
Yeah, I'd say the basket's probably about the same height as the tee. You're just going up and over this hill, so it's blind.
Yeah, if you can hit on that dirt, it'll slide right up there.
Yeah, Ricky just barely caught the long grass under the tree there.
Philo's taking more of a hyzer at it. I believe he was trying to go around that tree.
And it got caught up in some branches there. I think he almost made the Hyzer line, actually.
I just throw my understable mid-range right at it, but a little short and left. We gotta eat a power bar or something this morning.
Oh, it leaves you with about a 80-footer or so.
I'd say.
Simon found the gap on the right that I think Philo was going for with the Hyzer.
Philo just laying it up, playing it safe, smart, early in the round.
And Nikko hands it. I was surprised that you ran that one too. What a risky putt.
Yeah, I was just kind of feeling it, and I know that I got to make those putts playing against a player like Rick with a lead, and he was putting good the first round, and
Well, your putt was solid.
he follows up.
Ricky answers with another outside the circle putt and an elevated basket. These guys make it look easy. I'd be laying up from that distance. Simon just on strong side, spit out a little bit. Philo taps in the par, and Simon's going to do the same here.
Just Philo with some sportsmanship. Philo's always a great sport to play with.
Couple birdies at the top. Hole 3, yet another blind hole. There's a lot of blind holes here at Shady Oaks. 325, OB to the left of the basket. That tall grass you see there is all OB.
Looked like Rick wasn't real happy with it, but it got up there further than he thought.
That's a pretty big spike sidearm hyzer to throw. I prefer the turnover backhand myself on this hole.
Yeah, I tried to let it hit the dirt, but I think I turned that one a little bit too much and it caught the tree.
Philo hits the grass instead of the dirt, but he's still got himself a look there.
Always a smooth player, but he's been throwing his rocks and T-birds and extra good this season. Simon hitting the line directly.
Perfect. High turnover shot right through the gap.
Well, it was about 70 feet there. Left a little bit short. Had a line, just needed a little more pop on it.
Yeah, it was right in line. Ricky.
Just raining.
Hands
putts.
another one. Nice putt from Philo, too.
Philo looked just inside the circle, maybe about 30 feet. There's that smile. Little. There's myself with a huge putt from 6 feet.
Nice par. And Simon with the park job. Beautiful drive. Birdie par, birdie birdie. Ricky with a 3-stroke lead, and from here we go into the woods. Hole 4, one of my personal favorites at Shady Oaks. Really unique shot. That branch right in front of the tee, or dead stump, or whatever it is, makes it interesting. You got to keep it up high. There's an OB creek right before the basket. OB when it has water in it, anyway. There was not much during this tournament.
Rick puts it on a good line. Got past the creek. On the right side of the basket.
In here. In here.
Philo got up there
Close
too.
to Ricky.
Yep. Looks like he threw the same disc he did on hole 3. Probably a rock. Slightly seasoned one, I'd guess.
Simon lets it go a little bit straighter than those guys, but
Catches
10
the,
feet behind him.
you know, you hit that stuff, sometimes you can roll back into the water, so at least that didn't happen to him.
Throwing a fairway driver here. Throw something pretty understable and throw it flat and let it turn.
Nice shot. Beautiful.
Right there.
Natural.
Simon gave it a run. I had the height on it, just missed left side. And Ricky missed one. How about that?
You won't see him miss many.
Philo too, just low.
What's happening? Let's just act like that didn't happen.
Something happened to everyone on that hole. That basket just rejected everyone. Simon gets the par to stick. And we got a couple more tap-in pars here. Disc golf is a mental game. It's tough to let those things go and move on. Hole 5 in the C-pin, 432 feet. One of the tougher holes that they're going to be playing here today. Big turnover shot. There's a small OB creek, but again, there's not a whole lot of water in it. And this tournament, they only played OB if it was, you know, fully surrounded by water.
4.
Ricky.
This is all you definitely have to put some power into. Plays every bit of 400 plus. Plus, you almost have to have a late turn on it. You got to get past the trees that Rick hit. Philo just hardly clipped, but once you get past those, you can hit the dirt and get a good slide.
Philo's shot, if that had gotten another 20, 30 feet out before turning that far right,
oh yeah,
that would have been it. It was close. Early release for Simon there.
Ooh.
I was really trying to throw past the basket. It was kind of my play on this one. Clipped a little bit on its way, but not too far.
Yeah, it looked like you threw something overstable on an Annie. I think most people might try to Hyzer flip something less stable for this shot.
I got just inside 40 feet.
Yeah. Oh, Simon.
Simon with an unexpected shot there.
And Ricky down in the creek bed, but no water where he was at, so safe, and that's his second shot.
Clips probably 75 feet from there.
Yeah, that was not a bad kick. Simon barely caught the end of his upshot there. He plays pretty quick. It's hard to be alert enough to catch every shot.
You could tell he was just trying to lay that one up.
Yeah. Philo just laying up for a par. And Ricky, long look at a par here.
Watch this walk. He's just walking to go pick it up. It's like I'm making everything.
Like it was nothing. Just 80-footer for par. He's all shaking his head.
I think he was going numb.
Nikko for birdie after a pretty good drive.
Come on, man. Come on!
Gotta say I was a little bit rattled after missing the last hole and then letting one slip there as well. I needed all the strokes I can get.
Philo with a good putt for par. And Simon with that 4 after hitting that early tree. And Nikko with a par. This is a tough hole. I mean, getting a birdie on this, you're going to get a stroke on most of the field. You don't see a lot of 2s. And Nikko was the only one who
I was
had
a
a
little
look
frustrated, but I was trying not to blow up, especially in front of the people watching and the other players.
Hole 6, C, 298. Another really interesting shot. It basically forces you to play the skip.
Yeah, it's kind of a short shot, so you gotta throw like an early skip that just gets past that tree and takes a hard skip left.
Yeah, that fallen tree right there, just over it. I mean,
Rick played it about right. As you can
go.
see, you get a good skip as long as you keep it on Hyzer angle, let it hit the dirt, get a putt.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much unparkable. You know, that's all you can do is get over to that wall. You still have to hit a putt, even after a good drive.
Yeah, you might be able to throw something over the top if you have a really long arm. It's really risky, so mostly everybody's going to take the skip shot around those trees. I thought I was going to park that one like 10 feet. Well, at least up almost to the wall.
If it had skipped before that tree or after that tree, it was headed towards the green. And Simon goes up and over.
He goes for the big shots.
I have played this course quite a bit myself. I never even realized that there was an opening up there for that to even be possible. But he got there, gave himself a look, maybe about 40 feet.
Simon's one player on tour that usually goes for the big shot. If he's got any chance, he'll just go for it. Kind of plays like you don't care most of the time, which can really work out in your benefit if you're
just out there having fun, you know.
if you're throwing over the top of trees and it's working out.
Nikko, good 2.
Willed that one in there. I knew I just wanted to get it above the rim, and that one fell in.
Philo for birdie.
Philo made a really funny video of that. You might have seen it on his Instagram page. Had some lights. Dun 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 dun. Bunk.
It was pretty good.
And Ricky's probably not going to donk around too much.
No, I mean, he was pretty close there, too. Maybe about 20 feet.
Which to Rick looks like 5-foot tap in.
Couple tap in pars, and it's on to hole 7.
Philo kind of showing you where he wanted to hit on the chains.
That's supposed to on the edge of the cage, yeah. Couple birdies, couple pars. Ricky and Nikko really separating themselves from the pack.
I feel that I really have to tell myself to throw it into the chains, especially once I miss a couple times. You don't want to fall into the habit of doing it more than once or twice. So, tell yourself, into the chains.
Attack the basket. Throw through the chains. All that good stuff. And that's a good drive from Ricky. Kind of a strange angle here, but the basket's behind that thick tree. He's right there.
Get a good skip off downhill towards the back. I felt like I threw that one good enough to get a putt and just kind of didn't get a favorable roll this time around.
Hit some roots and rolled back.
A lot of times if you get up by those trees, it rolls towards the basket.
Philo found a gap. And he gets a bit of a roll too, kind of across the fairway. Not really away from the basket or towards it, just to the other side.
It's tough though when you get inside those trees. You don't have much of a look once you get on that right-hand side.
Yeah. Yeah, this hole really is, there's the fairway, and if you're off the fairway, you don't have much. That's going to give Simon maybe about a 40-footer right there. He wanted to get past that pipe a ways.
What is that, man? Professional layup there. Making sure I don't have a comebacker, I guess.
Yeah, sometimes my body decides to do that too, even when my mind is like, okay, you're going to try to make this. Nope, you're laying
I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. No, I'm just going to throw it down there by the pole.
Basket, yep.
What Philo did.
I think Philo clipped some little branches on his putt.
Yeah.
Simon
hits one from every bit of 40.
Might have had some trees in his line there too. It was a little hard to tell from this angle. He was up on that hill off the fairway a little bit. Ricky with basically a tap in. And Philo and Nikko with the pars.
Had too many of those this round so far. There's tap in for threes. Gotta get those for birdie putt.
Ricky with a 4-stroke lead now, going into hole 8. One of my favorite holes at Shady too. I know I've probably said that a couple times already, but this one's really unique. You see a lot of Hyzer sidearms or high turnover backhand shots. OB Creek kind of wrapping around the basket on every side and deep of it.
Place that one a little bit wide. Gets a favorable skip short of the OB.
Yeah, well, he's right in the creek bed. I mean, that's where it's normally OB if there's water. It was just pretty dry this weekend. Simon goes for the high turnover shot.
of some branches.
I think he was
and
trying to
comes
play it
down.
a little bit higher and a little bit tighter to the right.
You know, this basket may
Come
be only...
to think about it, I probably could have done that because the OB wasn't marked and it was somewhat
just
dry.
water. Yeah, I mean, there's only a few patches of OB right now.
Tried to go a little bit too tight, caught the corner
The
tree.
basket is way off to the right there. This is a really tough one to get to for it being only 250.
It's all about hitting the ground just right.
Yep, getting that skip if you're taking the sidearm line.
This course has a lot of shots like that.
Come on.
Not far, but just tricky. You gotta
Yeah.
know how to play the terrain. That's what I love about this course.
Come on.
And Philo...
Gotta hit tight angles here.
Yeah. Philo looked like he went in the water there, but he actually stayed safe as well. That's a good upshot right there. Straddle out, Annie putter upshot.
Kind of had a tough angle, you couldn't tell from there.
Yeah, well, you could tell by your footing that you had to stretch it out around that corner.
Sounded like Simon clipped a little something right there.
And Ricky, safe, right next to some water, but he wasn't in it. Barely missed that one. Let me tell you, I played the AM weekend of this same tournament, and all those creeks were full to the brim.
Heard you guys were like at a water park.
Yeah, it was pouring rain for most of that tournament for us. And this is only one weekend later. You guys had it easy. Questionable lie here where Philo ended up.
I don't know about that.
Right here.
I think he's safe.
There's an island around the water.
He's touching safe. Unless you're completely surrounded, he's touching safe.
Oh, it's-
Just because
Is that
they
how to
had
play it?
questionable
Oh, I didn't know how to play
rules, and I felt like his disc was touching a piece of the dry dirt. We had to give it to him, and he was. So
It has to be
benefit
surrounded.
should always go to the player when you have unmarked courses. If there's any question,
Yeah, unless there's
players
water
should
all
always
around
get
it.
their ruling, and that's the way that I like to play.
I mean, really, this tournament, I think the creek there should be clearly marked off.
It should have been marked
and
off.
BOB. But if you're playing where it's only OB if it's in the water, then yeah, you got to give the questionable ones, give the benefit of the doubt to the player. Tried to jump out off the pole a little bit. Simon's really excited about the par. That little 250 footer gave the card some trouble. We got 3 pars and a bogey. Nobody birdied.
I'd say if 1 out of 4 get that, that's usually the number.
Yeah.
If that.
Yeah,
It's a tough one.
You don't say that often about such a short hole, but it's definitely the
250
case.
foot
Yeah,
trick shot.
yeah. Hole 9B, this is a big shot, 396 uphill. Most people choose to throw the roller on this.
I'd say the roller is the preferred shot. Although Barsby went sidearm around it
That's
when he
what-
won the tournament the year before.
That's
I
what
remember
I was gonna say.
That was impressive. To
Barsby
throw
threw the-
sidearm all the way.
Sidearm at this, and he went like 45 feet deep.
I think he
hit
did it a couple times. Did he? I think he might have birdied it 2 of 3. You were filming.
You could be right. I was only filming the last round.
I know he got it at least once.
He did. He got it the last round where I was filming last year. Simon's roller did not stand up. It just went straight the whole way. It's really tough to get a roller to do that if you're trying to get it to just go straight.
Right.
Jen had to get out of the way there a little bit. Nikko ended up just deep left. The roller turned a little bit late, but went over in the right direction.
Philo's been working on his roller game.
Pearl. Hard. Harder. Do it harder.
Screaming at it.
Well, it gives him about a 40-footer. This is a tough hole.
Might have been the closest in the group.
Yeah.
Simon from about 100 feet.
Right there. Yeah, this is another really tough one. The AMs had to play the same placement.
About 70 feet.
Cans another big one.
Finds the chains.
Man, hit a big one on
Better
two.
late than never. Better late than never.
And Ricky just behind that tree. Just low. The disc was flopping around a little bit.
Table faster, baby, yeah.
Oh, Philo just a little weak in that putt and went off, faded off early.
He's been putting so good this year. He's probably expecting to make it, of course. He calms himself and makes the par. That's really all you can do. Once you miss a putt, you just have to refocus, tell yourself to calm down, make the next one, before you get all flustered and miss 5 or 10 in a row.
Yeah, that's easier said than done. That's the mental game for you right there.
We've all done it. Been there, done that.
Moving on to hole 10. This is probably the shortest hole at Shady Oaks. Only 221 feet, and it's downhill.
Skip. Skip.
Too much grass. And Ricky goes with the sidearm approach.
Ricky usually goes to the sidearm when it's a gap shot, especially on the shorter holes.
Yeah, he has a lot of accuracy with that. I mean, playing those East Coast courses.
You know Simon's going over the top of the
Of
trees if
course.
there is any chance. It's a little caught up.
I barely saw it drop down there to the right. He's probably about 40 feet short right.
This hole does have some options, although it's only 220 feet. You can go straight at it, take that short hyzer right in front of you.
Yeah, I like the
or
low.
wide.
I like the low hyzer line.
That was it.
Like, none of you took it. None of you took what I thought was just the most simple, basic, just low, overstable mid-range shot. Simon, that putt looked pretty good. Maybe partially his fault, but it hit strong side. Just low.
Leaving a few out there this round.
And Philo gets the birdie with the up and over shot, and Ricky gets the birdie with the up the gut shot. And a couple tap in pars.
Tell yourself you can make the putt. Tell yourself you can make it. Make the shot. Make the putt in the back. Throw it into the back.
Couple birdies, couple pars. Ricky now with 4 strokes on Nikko, Philo with 3 strokes on Simon. Hole 11, another tricky short shot, 274.
You can go hyzer flip with a putter or mid-range, something understable. You could start off with hyzer, or take this sidearm flex shot, which I believe is the preferred shot here.
I'd say it is. And Ricky went too wide on that. He's looking for that to hit the dirt and skip.
That's
and,
rare. He would
Yeah.
usually park this hole.
Yeah, especially a sidearm hole. I mean, just like you were saying on hole 10, Ricky's that's one of his biggest strengths. Of course, he has many. A little low for Philo. Caught up in the grass.
He short-armed it a little bit.
Yeah, this is definitely a sidearm. I mean, I don't have much of a sidearm, and I even sidearm this hole. It's tough to get the turnover shot to get there. And Nikko shows us all how it's done. Nice little flex Firebird shot, I'm
I
guessing.
got this hole every round. I was feeling confident on the flex shot. Simon just plays it straight with a putter.
Yeah,
which
perfect.
works. As long as you got a disc that stays straight, you can take the back end.
Philo just laying up. Ricky,
Chain high, just came in short.
he laid out flat for that one. Sacrificing the body. Good birdie for Simon. Nikko, CTP. Easy tapping. Little comeback par putt for Philo, and same for Ricky. And Nikko gets it back down to 3 strokes away from Ricky. A lot of golf left in this round still. We still have to do the 10 temp holes.
One hole at a time. I was trying to close the gap. Just got 3 on me.
Hole 12, 324. This is a pretty simple shot. You can either go right at it or take a Hyzer line. It's downhill, 320. Probably plays 280 worth of effort. Nikko just a little short left. Circle's edge, maybe.
Yeah, right there.
That was on a good line. It's had a little too much power on it. You gotta
He's
Hyzer
not
out.
a little bit wide, but
Yeah.
I think he got within the circle.
Yeah, you just gotta get it to fade before those trees if you're taking the Hyzer approach. Ricky.
Just kept on sailing past the trees. Kept it close.
Came in just kind of right behind the basket, chain high.
It looked like an ace from our angle.
Good shot from Philo, too.
And that's the one I thought was going to be a chain hunter.
Ricky's look closer from the tee. Actually, we'll see Ricky's in slow motion in the highlight reel with just one angle. Nice putt for Nikko. And Simon has that low tree right there in front of him. Not
A good
problem.
putt.
Yeah. You know, those low ceiling putts aren't as big of a problem if your natural putt is a spin putt. Kind of feels more normal to you anyway.
Ricky with a huge putt from 5 feet.
He looks like he didn't quite know how to handle that 5-footer.
Yeah, he's usually making them from 40 or 50. So
60 feet, dead center, totally clean, and 5-footer kind of clunks it in there. And we got, I think, our first star frame of the round right there.
finally.
Took a little while, especially with only 4 of you. And hole 13D, this is a tough one, out of my range. 401, uphill, a lot of trees guarding the basket. That's a good line.
Yeah, that one was feeling really good.
And tree kicked it right a little bit at the end. That was going to be parked. Simon Lizotte. A little too much turn on that.
Plays it to the right, but he gets a favorable
Yeah,
skip.
found the backdoor route at it, actually. Maybe I spoke too soon. I think he's got himself a look. Ricky gets up there.
Place it a bit left, but
Well, you missed that one tree and still got the
I'll
distance.
still be looking at the basket. Philo puts a really clean move on it. Straight down the fairway.
Don't hit the tree. You bastard guy.
Bastard guy. Yeah, I mean, kind of like your shot. That was skipping right towards the pin and
Similar.
just clip that tree. Ricky from probably about
Ricky
80.
with a casual. That's the casual 70-foot tap in for
That's,
Ricky.
yeah, it's way easier.
Wysocki.
Way easier than those 5-10 footers.
He was making it look easy.
Man, that's what, like 4 or 5 way outside the circle putts he's hit this
He's not
round.
laying them up today, Pavo.
Yeah, good putt from Philo.
It's hard to pick up a stroke on somebody when they're just raining 60, 70-foot putts. And get it in there from 25 feet or so.
Yeah, you and Philo were right about there in the same spot. 2 more birdies, and here's Simon. Actually CTP, even though I said he hung it a little wide. Maybe he was doing that on purpose. Backdoor route. And that gives us a star frame on this hole, which that's surprising to me. That's probably one of the tougher ones you played so far. Somehow all of you got it. Ricky with the big putt, everybody else in the circle.
Most likely the only star frame on that hole. It's a long hole. It's like 420 feet uphill.
And you got a
Plays
Hyzer.
like a
You can't even
crush.
flex it there. And we're on to the temp holes. Here, hole A, they're teeing off backwards off of 14's tee pad.
Stay up. Stay way up. Needed that one a little bit higher.
Hit the line, hit the fairway. Just had to have a little more height on it, give it more time to fade.
Simon really rips his mid-range in there. It's a good shot.
Yeah, that was the high turnover
It's about as
shot.
good as you can do with
Yeah.
a backhand on that hole.
Yeah. Of course, Ricky goes with the sidearm. No problem.
He wasn't too happy with his 10-footer there.
I think he was just talking about how you don't get any skip in this tall grass over here because they don't normally have holes over here.
Lots of
Philo
trees
just
for me
left.
today, baby. Lots of trees.
Kicks left off a tree a little
He
bit.
threw a good shot.
Yeah.
Stay up. Oh,
Just low.
Practice my putting quite a bit after this.
Yeah, come on, baskets, man.
Yeah, that spit out. We couldn't really see it. Philo's body blocked the view, but it was pretty solid and it spit out. Ricky with a solid putt. Simon with a nice birdie. And we got a couple tap-in pars.
A lot of tap-in pars for me and Philo out there. Come on, Philo. Start making putts.
And Ricky and Simon with the birdies there. Moving on to hole B. This one's about 292. Teeing off right from the sidewalk here. The basket's out there to the right, around and behind that dead low tree you see right there.
Now, you sure would think this is an easy birdie.
It's tough, this gap out of the tee. You got to keep it really low and wide, and you can't get much skip on this tall grass here. As you can see, Simon's just kind of stuck there.
Because it's grass like this high.
I didn't see many skips on this hole.
wow. Skip somehow. Oh.
Yeah, no skip for Ricky either.
I think he laid it up on purpose, just to give himself in the money range, 60 feet. I try to rip this one in there, and I'm thinking, yeah, the grass is going to catch it. Skipped like off a piece of ice.
Completely eliminated the skip for everyone else, and your
I
skip's
was
like...
really thinking I'd hit the tall grass, or maybe go left into that other tall grass.
That skip looks like you hit pavement.
Of course. Go in there deep.
Oh.
Go in there deep.
Deep.
Deep. We're not-
Poor Philo. Took him a minute to find that, get his leg in there, get legal footing, straddle out, and kneeling sidearm. That's not an easy shot for anyone. And he just clipped some stuff right in front of him. And he's there for a 4. What can you do? That was just a really bad kick. And Ricky from about 60 feet. Ooh, that was not like he's been putting so far today. That was pretty unusual. Even the ones he missed earlier were close. Simon about the same distance.
Simon stayed safe and looked like he jammed it.
That looked like a spit out to me.
That was a dirty spit.
Hard to tell from the side angle like this, but that looked clean to me. And Nikko's was found.
We cut out. We couldn't even find my disc for a little while.
Yeah, there was people searching for a while down there. Found it. It was safe. There was some water down there,
I think I might have
but-
skipped off that dirt right there.
Yeah. And we got Ricky tapping in a par. And Simon and Nikko are going to do the same. I did miss Philo tapping in his bogey while Nikko was looking for his disc back there.
Looking for the piece of ice I hit.
Who put ice on the fairway? And hole C is kind of a par 3.5. Totally reachable for you guys, but 474, pretty tight window, maybe 2/3 of the way up the fairway.
This one's tough. I didn't see anybody get close to inside the circle from their drive.
And of course, Simon is trying something crazy.
Oh.
Simon going for the big shots,
Four.
over and around the trees. Left it a little wide. I played with this
Oh, good
kid
spot there.
Ian in the first round. He was trying to convince me to take that Hyzer route. Looks like it's there, but you kind of got to miss all the trees.
Yeah, it takes a lot of power to even think about that Hyzer route. Ricky throws sidearm up
That
the
throws
middle.
a pure line down the middle. I think he went fairway driver, though. If he would have went with a long wing driver, he could have reached it.
That's surprising to go with a fairway driver when it's 480-foot shot practically. Nikko
I would
going
have
at it.
liked to have seen this one miss. A little bit high, though.
It was a little bit high, but man, it had the right amount of turn on it. That looked like a pretty stable disc. I think it would have fought out nicely. Come back if it was just a little lower. And Philo had the height, but not quite enough turn. Nikko with a little bit of a tricky second shot here. Looks like there's a pretty open Hyzer window, actually. Just got to get it far left enough. I
He had a
got,
decent skip there.
got the skip in the tall grass. A little bit short left for Philo there. It's kind of a routine upshot.
Simon has an easy layup from over there. At least he got around the trees, or that could have been tough.
Yeah, he got the distance. He just released a little bit late, I think. Easy to do when you're trying to throw that hard. Ricky trying to make the 80, 90 footer. Gave it a good chance. Good par save for Philo.
That hole literally played like a par 4 over the weekend. It's tough if you hit early. You know, you're left with an upshot.
Oh yeah, and it's a
Most
tight
people
gap.
hit early on that hole.
Yeah. It's hard to hit a small gap 300 feet up the fairway on a 475-foot hole.
That's true.
That's tough for sure.
I like the alternate holes. I thought they did a pretty good job on the alternates.
Yeah, they
This
were
year.
interesting.
They're a lot harder than previous years.
Yeah, I think they only did that for you guys. The AMs got to play the same temps that they've been doing for years out here at
Move up.
St. Patrick's.
Baggers.
Hole D, par 3, 360, wide open. Hyzer. There's
They're
that
the kind of
bogey.
holes I like. Power Hyzer's about 360. I think it plays a little further.
Yeah, I will say all these.
I think that one played like 375 or 400.
All these temp holes. I mean, I just went out with an app on my phone and GPSed out the distances. So
This one
there,
was about 400.
you could be right. I figured.
Well, we're all throwing drivers, not fairway drivers. That says something. Rick with a near ace. That was a close call. I'm just playing that wide Hyzer, letting the disc fall.
Park job.
I love shots where you have enough room on the right, where it allows you to just fully power the disc.
Philo takes a little bit of a lower Hyzer line.
Takes more like the straighter flex shot at it, which had good results. We made that one look pretty easy.
And here we barely caught the end of Simon's putt there going in. I actually missed it, thanks to the guys at the Disc Golf Show for giving me their clip for that putt. Simon putted so quick I didn't turn on my camera in time. Couple more tap-ins here and an easy star frame for these guys. Wide open Hyzer shots, I guess that's what you would expect.
I wish all the other tap-ins I had this run were for birdies.
Another star frame, our third, I believe, for this round. Which brings us to hole E, which is another tweener hole, but they were playing this one as a par 4, 534 feet. In some sense, it might even be easier than C, but it is longer. I mean, C was like 470 something. This one's 534. I think if it's over 525 and open, they play it as a par 4. That's basically the rule, so it was a much shorter par 4.
This one's a harder deuce, but an easier 3, if that makes sense.
It sure does, because the other hole, I mean, more players can reach it.
Simon piped that one.
This, man, that
About
shot
the best drive you could ask for.
just flipped it to flat perfectly. It just held that straight line for hundreds of feet. Perfect shot by Simon.
Rick had a good line, but
Early
it
fade.
faded.
Yeah, you probably see a lot more 3s on this hole, but a lot more 2s and 4s on C with all the trees.
I was trying to power it a little too much, clipped the tree.
Oh man, that's a really unfavorable kick too. That could have been a little kinder to you, hitting that little twig.
After you hit early wood, you're thinking just get up and down for a par.
Oh, where are you going?
He's going
Thank you.
up and over.
Over the house, or the building, not the house,
Something good happened.
and stayed safe. Just a routine Hyzer upshot. Nikko's got that all day. Philo throwing a sidearm. I don't see that too much.
I think he just got bored with backhand. Switch it up.
And he's there for a 3. Ricky has a look here, actually. It looks like he kicked farther left, or faded farther left. Just low.
We're talking about Rick making every putt this tournament, but he left a few out there.
Couple here and there, but
Far and few in between.
Simon gets the Eagle 2.
Hey, if you throw the big shot on every hole, sometimes it works out.
Everyone else here just tapping in 3s, which technically are birdies, but probably feel more like pars to these guys on a hole like this. Somewhere in between. We got 3 birdies and an eagle. I wasn't really sure whether to mark that as a star frame or not, but I figured it's better than a star frame, so why not? And we got hole F. Par 4, 559. This one's definitely a legit par 4.
Yeah, this is definitely considered a par 4. It's a 2-shot hole.
Farther than the previous hole, and the shape of the fairway makes it, so I mean, there's no way to play it besides 2 shots. You got to throw that hyzer out there like that.
And this first throw should be pretty easy, but you still have to make sure that you get more left than you can see from the tee pad. Because if not, it's easy to hit that tree on the right with power and stay OB.
Yeah, once we see the other angle up here, you'll see that path there is OB and beyond, so the players do have to stay to the left there.
Yeah, like purposely throw it high and left of that tree.
With a lot of fade.
Way left.
Yep, that's right where you want to be. Good spot for the second shot. Philo playing the same shot as everybody.
Everybody makes the hyzer around the corner.
First shot is really just about trying to put yourself in a good position for the second shot. As you can see, the basket there there's not a lot of room around it. There's a lot of bushes and stuff, and then the OB path is pretty close to it as well.
Rick throws his mid-range, ends up going a little bit early left. Kind of pinched off on the corner. Throw my overstable putter, hang it out just wide enough, chips in there nicely.
Perfect.
Philo threw his putter as well.
He's on the short grass, and there's not much of it. This is an interesting hole. I mean, it is just a hyzer drive and a hyzer upshot, but the green is narrow enough with that
You
OB
had
path.
good touch
that
though on this upshot.
slightly sloped downhill away from where you're throwing from. Didn't look easy. And Ricky off in the cabbage.
Rick just laying it up here.
Ricky's actually going to be taking a 4. It is on a par 4 though. I believe he is still bogey free.
Finally gave a stroke back. It's like prying teeth.
Simon with a nice birdie 3, and Philo also got one there. Nikko tap in birdie. And Ricky with the only 4. Three birdies and a par. Still only 3 strokes between Ricky and Nikko. Hole G, we're going back in the woods. 250.
Just a straight tunnel shot.
Yeah.
You can see it. Gap shot. About 300 feet straight ahead. you GPS this one too, or did they have it marked?
No, I GPSed all of them. It's not the most accurate technology. There's better ways of measuring distance, but they didn't have any of these measured, so I went out there and did what I could.
Left of it.
We did get to play this one during the AM weekend as well, but our tee pad was probably about 10 or 20 feet closer.
River? No.
We just had a rubber tee pad right there in the dirt in front of where you guys were teeing off from. It was hardly any different. I don't wonder why they changed it up at all.
Yeah, they should make you guys play the same course.
The very first temp hole was exactly the same for us. A was the same, and then we had one other little one in between,
Rick
and then
lays up to about 50.
this was our C, our third temp hole.
And he just tosses one in.
Easy tap in for Ricky.
Well, 50-foot tap in.
Like it's nothing. It's like, oh, whatever. I make those all the time. Good birdie from Simon.
Make my 22-footer.
And that just leaves Philo after a great drive. Easy tap in with the bag on. Now we're seeing some more star frames. Ricky nearly at 30 under par after nearly two 27-hole rounds here at St. Patty's. Hole H, par 3, 352. This was a really tricky, tight tunnel shot.
Yeah, you gotta hit this gap right away if you want any chance of a birdie.
And Simon was just barely wide. It looked like it was starting to turn just a little bit too late.
I wanted to throw this hole again immediately after that shot. I like gap shots. Makes it fun.
Yeah, this shot looked really fun. I was kind of bummed, actually. We didn't get to play this one. We had temp holes in this area, but they were different.
Philo just displays his skills.
Look at that.
Just clean as can be.
Straight down the fairway. I mean, there must be like a 10-foot gap you got to hit on this hole. And he just went right down the middle. Beautiful drive.
Eric goes over the top. He knows all he needs is a putt.
And comes down a little early. Kind of in line with the basket. Maybe
A little bit right. He might be able to see the basket from there.
Simon trying to get out of the rough here.
Oh, so close.
A little hard to see from either of those angles, but he clipped some branches and it took all the juice off it. Now that's a textbook sidearm upshot right there.
I had a couple options from there, but I needed to hit the biggest gap.
Simon trying to save the par. It's a really easy hole to get in trouble on. If you got one bad kick off your drive, it's tough to recover.
Rick's about 60 feet from the woods. He came close to making it.
Yeah, I didn't have the best angle on that one. It was tough to tell if he even had a look at the basket.
Clean birdie by Philo.
That's an excellent birdie. Philo's getting a stroke on most of the field getting this one. Reachable, but just super tight window to hit.
Yeah, Nikko.
And good par save for Nikko.
Felt like that was a birdie from where I was.
Yeah, exactly. That second shot required some skill. And Simon with the 4. And we're
A
not
little
even,
gallery action.
yeah, it's not even the final round yet, and there's still a good-sized gallery watching. And Philo and Simon with that birdie bogey swing. Philo now has a 1-stroke lead over Simon. Ricky and Nikko still 3 strokes apart at the top. Hole I, par 3, 216. Pretty short little hole. Just a Hyzer shot.
Still a thin gap.
Yeah.
A little bit short, maybe 35, 40.
He threw it in the right direction, just didn't have enough juice on it.
I throw my fairway driver with a little stability.
Maybe a little bit of tree love there, but
I think so.
It was headed the right way anyway, but it
Got
tapped.
a little piece of it.
It tapped it. And there's the mind of a sidearm player. I didn't even see that opening over there.
Me neither.
I just look and see, oh well, yeah, it's just a backhand Hyzer. Ricky found that line, and then Simon, not even throwing sidearm, likes Ricky's sidearm window with the
I think
turnover.
Simon was getting bored out there.
Yeah, he was just trying to
Yeah, he was trying
try some
something
fun
different.
shots. Oh, let's try the Annie line over here. He was close to hitting it too. I mean, the line wasn't that far off. Annie sidearm gives himself a look at a par. And here's Philo, probably from about 60.
I'd say at least 40, 50. That's
Oh, you're
the
right.
Cleanest putts, though.
40 or 50, yeah. Still, great putt.
And Philo's got his putt tuned in. He's one of the cleanest putters in all of disc golf.
It's just so smooth, too, you know. I mean, his putt and his drive, everything about his form.
He's putting together a good season in 2016.
Yeah, already
Got the first big win at Gentlemen's Club and had a good showing at the Memorial and lead card St. Patty's. He's up there in the World Tour event as well.
Tap in birdie for Rick.
I wasn't too far. I was only about 15 feet.
Yep. Easy tap in for Nikko as well. And we got 3 birdies and a par. Almost done with the temp holes. I think we have 1 more left here.
I feel like I was putting together a decent round. Rick was just making a lot of long putts, and missed a few opportunities here and there.
Rick has been playing great. So here, hole J, the last temp hole, where they're playing from a temp tee back to hole 14's basket.
This is just a short putter shot. You got to make sure you clear the OB. There's a little creek right before the basket, so having the height over that creek can really help.
Yeah, there's the creek before the basket, and then there is this whole like swampy area that's OB. You can see the yellow tape right there, or if you clip some branches, you can drop into that as well.
I had sound effects there. I don't know where it come from. I was playing tennis.
Sometimes that's what you got to do to get
Just
the,
comes
get the
out
right
sometimes.
shot. Whatever makes you feel the most comfortable is how you should play.
Rick, he don't want to be 10 feet. He wants to get it out there 30 feet. He likes those long putts. Simon with a near ace run.
Ooh. Just faded out early.
At the chain height.
Yeah, it did. And Philo, after turning his drive over a little too much. You know it's close when it hits the top and the cage.
Yeah, like top links.
Just knock them straight down. And Ricky
Rick
makes
made it, but
15
he makes
footer.
cleaner putts from 40 to 60.
Yeah, that's definitely been the case this round. An easy tap in for Simon. And easy tap in for Nikko as well. It's an interesting layout they do here for the temp holes, where you use the 14th tee backwards and you throw to the 14th basket from a different tee. So you have 10 temp holes and 17 of the original 18.
I like the other temp hole that they played the previous year. I thought it was a little more challenging. Same hole, but longer.
Three birdies and a par, and we're back on the main course with 4 holes to go in round 2 here. Hole 15 in the C placement, 416 feet. You cross the OB Creek twice on the way to this pin.
I went for it the first round, decided to just pull out my Grizzly mid-range and just play it smart and safe this round.
This is a really high-risk shot to try to make the basket, especially with all the OB. And on this hole, actually, to the left of the 2 bridges, I believe is always OB. That is clearly marked.
There's also a mandatory that you can't see from here. It's over on the left-hand side, so you can catch a bad kick and miss that mando.
You can just see the mando now on the far
if you try
left.
to do too much.
Yeah.
Simon, I believe he's going for it, though.
Of course he is. Simon, he goes for everything. A little too much turn.
He might have got a long putt on the right-hand side if that one would have kept going. One of the best shots of the whole tournament right here.
Anti-skip in the hole.
Wow.
Got the anti-skip.
Beautiful shot from Philo. What a tough one to reach. And Ricky's in a tricky spot here.
That's a really clean-up shot. Put it right there.
Just right at it.
Throw it a little right. Kick down about 38 to 40 feet.
Yeah, about there, 40. Yeah, there you can see the orange flags on the left and that wooden wall. If you fall down there, that is always OB, whether there's water or not. That was the one exception to
You
the...
can see the orange paint around that middle structure.
Here's Nikko from about 40 after hitting that tree. Solid par save. Good putt's a good putt. No matter what it's for.
I was playing for my 3, so I was stoked to get it and move on.
Yeah. Ricky saves the par as well with a great second shot. And Philo for a birdie after a fantastic drive.
He cleans it up.
Getting the stroke on a lot of people there with that one. 2 strokes on a good number of people, I'd imagine. You'd probably see a good number of 4s on that hole. None on this card. 3 pars and a birdie. Ricky and Nikko still 3 strokes apart.
Still a battle.
Yeah, Philo's
Still a
got
battle.
2 strokes on Simon. Hole 16, 291, straight ahead. Newly fallen tree. If you see last year's video, that tree right in front of the basket was still standing.
Another one of these straight shots you get a lot of times at Orangevale. Shady Oaks, that is.
Philo throws a rock out there, probably. A little bit deep right. Probably circle's edge, but there's some branches. That tree deep of the basket is pretty thick.
Played it on the right-hand side.
Gave yourself a circle's edge look. 25 feet or so,
Yeah,
maybe?
about 25.
Ricky just throws the gentle Hyzer. Slides it up there. Good shot from Simon. Gets it up and over the fallen tree and puts it right there. I remember this one. Philo took some time trying to get his footing in there and find a window through the branches. It looked like a pretty
I
rough
think he just
lie.
had a tough lie.
2. Go 2 from Ricky. I actually thought he slid under those and was past them. From the tee pad, it really looked like it.
One of the many obstacles in the game of disc golf is that the adversity and the terrain. It's always something new. Got to throw over, under, around. It's disc golf.
Stuff like this is really interesting to me when you're like 20 feet, but there's some stuff in your way and you can't quite get your ideal putting stance. And
Yeah, a lot of times you got to switch it up slightly.
Yeah.
You can't do the exact same thing.
It's way more interesting to me when courses have that type of gameplay where, you know, it's not just open and you have ideal putting conditions 99% of the time.
Philo was sitting there thinking about it. He knows he could park that
Yeah.
9 out of 10.
So hole 17 in the D placement, 420 feet uphill, blind shot. Most people go with the roller on this.
This is a technical hole. You got to throw through that gap with power. I was really pleased with the way that one felt out of my hand.
And it went out of sight there a little bit, but it did curl right at the end.
Got pin high,
Yeah.
just inside the circle.
This is a tough one to reach. Ricky went right at the second camera. Ended up a little short left.
Simon goes for the air shot here and goes through everything clean.
Yeah, that was.
I think he missed his gap, but it had really good results.
He just threw higher than he wanted, I think. It was really just going through all the branches up at the tops of the trees and somehow missed him.
There's the clean gap.
That's probably OB.
Philo says that's probably OB. He's 20 feet. And Rick just laying up for a 3. He was pretty far away there. Maybe he was trying to make it, but that looked more like a layup to me. Now Philo, more than 20 feet. That was not accurate what I said. Just weak side. Yeah, that was probably about 35.
I'd say it was 45, but
Yeah.
I think he was outside the circle.
Yeah, he was definitely outside the circle. Ooh.
Simon was about at the circle's edge, if
Yeah.
not a couple feet outside. I was inside. I was about 30 feet. Left another one. Can't be leaving too many putts if you want to beat Ricky Wysocki.
He is one of the best. Simon's par putt spits out. He hit a little bit high.
Simon missed some putts that he usually doesn't miss.
So Philo and Ricky tap in pars. Simon taps in the 4. And Nikko with the par as well. No birdies. It's a tough one.
A lot of tap-in pars in the second round. Too many, if you ask me. Had all the opportunities to get those 3 strokes.
Yeah, it's been sitting there at 3 strokes between Ricky and Nikko for a while now. Philo now has 2 strokes on Simon going into this last hole. Trying to secure his spot on the lead card for round 3. Hole 18 here is in the C-pin, 323 feet, slightly downhill. Nice backhand line.
Straight at it. Left myself about 25.
Anything beyond that little ridge you see there kind of wrapping around the basket is OB. You have to stay on the stay before that ridge. You can also go over it on the right side if you go too far. Another nice drive. Philo throws that light green rock a lot. Threw it a lot this round.
Got it tuned in.
Seen him throw it on straight shots and turnover shots. Might have been his most thrown disc off the tee this round. He's most recognizable. Simon with a nice turnover line. And Philo for birdie. Just didn't quite commit on that one. Follow through looked a little bit cut off.
I wasn't missing putts like that in Vegas, I'll tell you that much.
He wasn't missing putts like that most of this round either. Simon. Nikko finishes on a good birdie. And of course Ricky's there for the drop-in basically. And that just leaves a couple of tap-in pars. Wraps up 27 holes, round 2 at St. Patrick's Classic. Finishing on 2 birdies and 2 pars. Still that 3-stroke difference between Ricky and Nikko. Philo sitting at 21 under, Simon at 19 under. Here we see in red the players we followed for this round. Unfortunately, Simon did drop off the lead card, and for the final round video now we're going to see the same 3 other players and Ray Johnson taking Simon's place. We actually saw him recently on Pure Hyzer Productions.
We just watched round 2 coverage from the St. Patrick's Classic in Orangevale, California. You got to see 18 holes of the original course plus the 9 temporary holes that they have. And I just want to thank Bruce and Jennifer Knisley for running this event and showcasing some of the best disc golfers around the country in California.
Yeah, and I do want to say, too, to anyone in the area checking out the Shady Oaks Disc Golf Course, do stop by the Pro Shop. They have there right on the course, Final 9 Sports. They've got great selection from all the major manufacturers, discs, baskets, bags, whatever, snacks, anything you need. So definitely stop by there. And we saw some exciting shots this round. I mean, both Nikko and Ricky were hitting huge putts outside the circle like
Mostly
crazy.
Ricky, but I made a few.
Nikko made a few too. I mean, Ricky may have made more, but Nikko, I mean, your putt on hole 2 and your putt on hole 9, I mean, there were just some crazy putts going in that round. And really, Ricky started with a 1-stroke lead over you. He only got it up to 3 strokes in 27 holes. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
he gained
not...
2, so it's still a battle.
Still a
After
battle.
round 2, he's got a 3-stroke lead going into the final round, and should make it exciting for the last day.
Yeah, it's going to be close between Nikko and Ricky, and then now with Ray Johnson moving on to the lead card, there's actually him and Philo, I think, are going into the final
Get to
round.
see another local and battle for
Yeah.
3rd and 4th spot.
3rd and 4th, they're starting the 3rd round only 1 stroke apart, so we've got a good battle for 1st and a good battle for 3rd, and the final round is shorter than the 1st and 2nd rounds. They're not playing all the temp holes anymore, they're just playing the original 18, and we actually get to see hole 14 for the first time since that was skipped with these 10 temp holes.
Yeah, it's a technical course, so anything could happen.
Yeah, stay tuned for the final round coverage, and now we'll go take a look at some of the highlights and best shots from round 2. And thank you, Nikko, for coming
Thank
on
you
as
all
my
for
guest.
watching, and thank you, Pavo, for having me all the time. Thank you.
First up on the highlight reel,
Looks like
Ricky.
a short putt, but I promise you he's every bit of 65 feet.
That's 50 to 60. That doesn't even look short, man.
Telling you, 60-footer.
And Philo hitting a big putt on the first hole as well, probably about 35 feet. Not as
Oh,
huge
yeah.
as Ricky's, but really
Philo
solid.
Doing his thing in the heart of the chains.
Ricky and Philo both just starting off
Ching.
with great putts.
Ching.
That's how you want to start a new round. You you hit that first good putt, it really sets the pace, mental pace for the rest of your round. And Nikko on hole 2, this is one of the most incredible putts I've filmed, I think. Big jumper from probably about 70 or 80.
That one felt really clean.
It was
especially after missing the first hole. It's like, come on, let's get going here.
And that went in solid too. Center, a little bit low, right in the middle.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Didn't have the feeling like it was gonna spit out or anything. It just felt pure.
Tell Nikko's stoked to make that one. Ricky Wysocki, though, not phased at all by Nikko hitting the 80-footer.
Ricky just hits me with the dagger, literally.
So immediately after Nikko's putt, Ricky hits one from almost as far away. It's 2 incredible putts on hole 2. We've already seen 2 putts outside 50 feet. 3 putts outside 50 feet go in after the first 2 holes. And next up, Simon Lizotte's drive on hole 3. Shows everybody how the high turnover line is thrown. Stables out just the perfect amount, goes straight towards the basket and parks right under it. Next up, Ricky again, this time saving a par.
This one's long. He's 80 feet. Just casual walk up.
Like, oh yeah.
A walking putt.
I knew it was going in. It was just a tap in.
He's shaking
Come on,
his head.
guys. It's like, yeah.
Just a 3. Don't clap. It's just a 3.
And the next hole, Nikko putting for a birdie. Jump putt.
Got it in there. Caught some chains. Not many, but just enough.
And Simon Lizotte putting on hole 7 after that drainage pipe there, I think, stopped his drive a little bit from skipping. Not a problem.
Felt like my putt on the last hole.
Simon, always in a good mood, no matter how he's playing. And
It's a
Nikko,
long one.
another huge putt.
Let's go.
That one was clean, right in the heart.
Scored a birdie after a not so perfect drive.
Yeah, I mean, you can really tell. That's why I leave in the run sometimes, running to the basket to retrieve a long putt. Gives you more perspective on how far it is.
And that shows that you can't count yourself out. You know, just keep believing that you can make it. They'll start falling in.
And Nikko, this is a short shot, hole 11, just showcasing that touch flex shot, which...
I really love throwing that shot. Just a trustworthy, overstable disc.
That was a Firebird, right?
Hit it on the right angle, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a useful shot to have, and it's something that a lot of players should realize, that even, you know, top players like Nikko might still be throwing a Firebird on a shot that's under 300 feet if it has the right flight path for it. You get that huge flex that is so helpful on that fairway. And there's Ricky, almost acing hole 12. Stuck with just the view from the tee pad for the highlight reel.
I'm surprised you haven't caught an ace yet. All these tournaments you've been filming.
Still hasn't happened.
It'll happen.
And Ricky,
I just call it the casual Ricky 70-footer. Just chain, orange
so
tape.
clean. So clean.
Not many players can make them like that. He's one of the few.
I mean, usually in a PHP video, it's highlight reel if someone makes 1 or 2 putts.
Well, I
from
take that back.
distance.
There's a lot of people that can make them, but not as often.
And we're on to the temp holes. Here's Simon Lizotte driving on hole A. Goes down that left side fairway with the high turnover shot pretty flawlessly. Puts himself right there for a 2.
You just gonna show all of our shots right here on this show.
Hey, we're even skipping some holes. Ricky You know, this hole is pretty simple, but it was
His looked like it was
another ace
going in
run.
more
Look
than
how
the other
close
ones.
this is. Look how close this is.
Pretty close.
That's pretty close. You got to keep the ace runs in.
Didn't even
on the
hit
easy
chains,
holes. No. You know we got to see this one, though. Simon Lizotte's drive on hole E. Par 4. Hyzer flip to flat. Going perfectly straight for a while.
It was a long shot. That was a 500-foot toss. Not like D in the desert 1,000-foot toss, but it was half that.
Well, there weren't, 50
He threw it about
mile per hour
half
winds.
as far as the current world record,
Yeah.
which is pretty far.
Big shot for tournament play.
Now imagine that. The world record is twice as far as he just threw.
More than twice, yeah.
I gotta make it there next year.
Easy eagle for Simon Lizotte. And we move on to Philo Brathwaite's drive on hole G.
Mr. Straight Shooter. He really is, though. He just throws the disc clean, flat, release. It's his game.
Perfect tunnel shot. Yeah, Philo really has that finesse game dialed. It's fun watching him throw these technical shots. And Ricky putting on the same hole. Low center, clean putt from probably about 40 or 45 that time.
Just a mirage of putts over 40 feet.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely made some farther than that one, but that was a good one. And this was definitely one of the best shots of the round for me. Such a pure line.
It's one of the best shots in the tournament.
Come on, baby, one time.
Hit a gap like that without touching a stick.
Just totally clean all the way through. Slides it up there.
Yeah.
And
We all gave him his props on that one.
It's a close putt, but it's such a great birdie that we got to see the whole sequence here. Philo getting a birdie on hole H, probably one of 5 or something in the tournament. I imagine very few people were able to thread the needle on this one with all the power needed as well. Lots of Philo highlights here.
This is just like the Philo highlight reel.
For this stretch, it is. Philo was on fire through these last 10 holes. Huge putt there on hole I. And the Philo streak doesn't stop. We're off the temp holes, back on the main course. Philo Brathwaite again, driving on hole 15. Just about as impressive as his drive on hole H. Nice little
Oh, it's even
anti-skid.
better, I think.
Yeah, those were just both incredible shots. They're different. H is a tighter line. 15's maybe more technical in other ways with the elevation and the OB.
With being a tall guy, that hole's even
Yeah, because
tougher.
there are those low branches pretty close in front of the tee. And Nikko saving a par on hole 15 with a good jump putt.
Wasn't for birdie, but I get up and down for the par. I even run it out.
That's a big par save. I'd say that was about 40 feet.
Yeah, it was
45.
about 40.
Yeah, somewhere in there. And coming down the stretch here, Ricky Wysocki finishing off a fantastic round with a clean sidearm drive on hole 18. Park job. And please subscribe to Pure Hyzer Productions, especially if you want to stay notified when the final round is available. See who can hold on to that victory between Ricky and Nikko, and who's going to take third between Philo and Ray Johnson.
Orangevale, California. Shady Oaks.